Hi, everybody. It's my next interview, and I'm so happy to have this lovely, lovely woman, Nancy Freeborn, with me. Hey, Nancy. Nancy and I are celebrating our 10th year anniversary of knowing each other. And how we got to know each other is through the auditions for Rent that we did 10 years ago. And I remember Spencer saying to me, Denise, wait, because Nancy was our last audition. And we didn't have what was the character you played?
Joanne.
We didn't have a Joanne yet. And I'm going, because we kind of knew who our Maureen was, but we just didn't have a Joanne yet. And Spencer kept on saying, wait, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then here comes Nancy with your hubby, and you played the guitar for you, and you sang, and I just wept. There was just no doubt this woman is going to be in the show. And that's how it began. That's my love affair with you, Nancy, began at that particular time. And since then, we've done so much stuff. We did Cabaret together, Drowsy Chaperone together, a lot of Broadway and Bay shows together.
Yeah.
We even did some Christmas shows together. And so, we have really done a lot of collaborating, and it's been so much fun. And I'm so excited that you're here today to talk to us and to share some stuff. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about first is what were you doing? And I know you were super, super busy before the pandemic hit. I know that you did so much stuff. So tell us about that. And then we're going to go segue to what you're doing now. Okay?
Yeah. So we had pretty much just finished Sister Act that I was doing with the Paramount. So it was basically like working full time and doing this big show. It was pretty intense. It felt like it was pretty crazy because it's like, I'd be doing a big show and then there'd be like these other like little gigs coming up and then like other bigger ones in the works and all this stuff. And so it's really strange to sort of all of a sudden have it be like, that everything, you know what I mean? It's like everything is on hold, everything stops, and all of a sudden I'm just like sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and I'm so used to being like crazy busy, right? But it's been kind of cool because there's been a few little online things that I've done. Last night we did The Importance of Being Earnest.
It was so good, Nancy.
Thanks. It was really fun. It sort of like reminds me of Broadway on Bay in the sense that it's these little, it's these roles that you wouldn't necessarily be able to play otherwise.
Yes.
I got to be Miss Prism, and I could never play that role, right?
You still haven't convinced me you can.
Yeah, maybe in a few years, but you know what I mean. So it was kind of cool to that's why I love like table readings like that, play readings, So I've done that, and then there's Live from the Living Room, which is Logan's podcast, and so we're gonna do a song for that. And then I'm doing this, and so there's been little things where I get to put on the makeup and do the hair and do the thing, right? But other than that, it's been pretty quiet from what I'm used to.
And how are you handling that, my friend?
You know what? It's up and down. It's really up and down, and I'm trying to not put specific pressure on myself as to how I'm supposed to be or supposed to feel or what I'm supposed to be doing. At first, it changes. That's the thing, right? So it's at first I was my husband and I were this is awesome. We get to spend all this time, not awesome, but as to the self-isolation thing specifically, we were we get to spend so much time together, spend time with our son, just be in the house. It's we don't have to get up in the morning.
Yeah. Yes.
It's great. But then all of a sudden this sort of little dark, there's always a dark cloud just because of what it's all about and what's happening. But then this little dark cloud starts to come over you, right? And you kind of feel hey, I'm just sort of sitting here, I'm going a little crazy, right? So I've been finding that I have to stop being I have to use this time to clean the house and do this and that. But I am also doing that. But I have to just, if the whim takes me, if I wake up and I have my coffee and I'm you know what, I'm going to organize my entire kitchen, then I just do. But if that doesn't strike me, I don't go, well, you better stand up and start organizing a kitchen or doing something. No, I don't. I don't have to do anything. I have a 6-year-old, I'm good.
And how's it been with you? You're the only person I've interviewed that has a child at home. How's that been for you?
I think also up and down. Luckily, we're kind of we're sort of homebodies anyway. So it's not my son was in hockey and soccer, and like or some other kids are like really social and doing all these things. We kind of like chill at home. Like we play, we go to the field across the street and play, like we play in our backyard. So we're kind of like this little family that's kind of like that anyway. So it's not like as huge of a change as it has been probably for some. But at the same time, he hasn't played with another kid in like a month. So he sort of asks questions like today, Scott and I were jamming in the bedroom. We said, look, we just need like 5-10 minutes. We're going to go in the bedroom, just like, you know, play your video game out here for a minute. And he was like, well, isn't someone coming to play with me? Like, because normally if we were going to go jam, someone comes over and plays with him while we jam. So he's not like sitting there alone. And we were just like, no one's coming, you know? So yeah, it was a little,
it's going to be weird for them. It's going to be weird for them for a while too, the social aspect of things. Right. And that's the hardest part about it is that we're lacking social, gatherings and being with people, you know?
Yeah. And like, he doesn't really, I don't know, like the phone thing doesn't really do it for him. Like this, he kind of gets it, but like he has this one little friend and they kind of like Skyped or whatever a couple times on Messenger, and like, he wasn't really into it as much. He was like, Mom, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like when he's 6. So when they're social, they're playing. They're messing around, you know, to sit and like talk like this.
Still, it's got to be crazy.
Like he doesn't really know what to say and stuff, right? So it's kind of, you know.
I know that's very, very weird. So have you been watching the news or anything like that?
You know what? I admit I am not a news follower in general. I'm like,
me next.
I am the most sensitive person on planet Earth. I can't. I know bad shit is happening. I don't need names and faces and details, okay? I get the picture, okay? Someone died, someone, you know, stole some money. I get it. You know, I don't need to delve into it. So I'm a little bit like that with this, but not as much. I'm like, okay, I have to pay attention. You know what I mean? So I try not to I'm not Googling the news every morning to see what's new and stuff. I've got a couple of friends that are real, you know, so it'll come into my inbox. My friend Kat will send it to me in my inbox. Don't worry. If there's something new I need to know, like she's on it. Right. So, and Scott, is a news reader every morning, you know, so he'll also say, you know, now they're saying this and today this happened and stuff. And, you know, it's just tell me the important stuff. I don't want to know any grim details.
I know, you know what, to be honest with you, it causes stress because I did it for a little while there and it was getting so depressing for me that I had to turn it off. I had to say no more of that. And I did it for one day and it was like I had this big weight off my shoulder. We know what the situation is. We don't have to hop on it all the time. And we know what we should avoid. We know we should be doing this. We should be and sometimes we just have to turn it off. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is sometimes just for mental health purposes, you know?
Yeah, it's not necessary to bombard oneself with this negativity constantly. It's not like you're ignoring it. You're not putting yourself into a bubble. Like I said, the important things will become known from those close to you. It'll come up on your news feed or whatever it is. But I don't need to be just constantly just absorbing it. You know, it's not helpful in any way. It is okay to just give yourself permission to just ignore it for a while and bake some cookies, man, or watch Netflix. That is okay. You know,
Absolutely, without question. And you know what? We were just talking about this, how it's so funny. I've done about 7 interviews and everyone has the same perspective. There is no expectations at this point. Don't give yourself an expectations and don't be so hard on yourself because at this point, the time is your friend, but also time can also be very beneficial to refuel yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of cooking and eating the cooking that I'm doing. It's a problemo. It is oh my gosh.
I know I'm the same way. I got this buffalo chicken in the crock pot. It smells so bloody good in the house and I'm dying.
Yeah. At one point I sat and did a tally of all the food that was in the house that I had made. And it was literally a list. I was right now I have beef jerky, bannock, ice cream, homemade ice cream. There was a whole list of all these things that I had made. It's just all these piles of food, look what I did. And then the next day I do zilch, like nothing. And that's what I mean. It's like really up and down.
It goes in waves. Exactly. It goes in waves. Like I see it happening. And especially we're just talking about this being an artist and being creative. It's sometimes it's almost like you're going to be like, it's like an itch, you know, like you have to be able to go out and be sometimes in an outlet somewhere to get all of this artistic creation out of your system. Right. Are you finding that?
You know what though? I'm really lucky because like my husband is my guitar player. So, and you know what? We had not been jamming. We hadn't written a song, Denise, in years. And I mean years. We had not written new material because we're so busy, both of us all the time, especially like I'm off the charts busy, right? And that's not to glamorize busy or anything like that. It's just the reality of my life. But so yeah, like we wrote a new song. We've already written a new song since this started. We jam like all the time now, like all the time. It's
so
amazing.
Good, Nancy. That's fantastic.
No, it's wonderful. Like we've reconnected like you would not believe, especially artistically. And so like for me, I'm like, you know, have a glass of wine. I'm like, I want to sing. And Scott will just be like, he comes up with a guitar. I'm like, oh, we just do
that's so, you guys are so good together that way. Look at you two.
Yeah, it works.
Russ is my tech guy. So I needed stuff for tech, like for my office. And I said, I need a new microphone, Russ, and I need this. And okay. So he goes off and, you know, goes and does all my investigating, gets the best price, and he gets the stuff for me, you know?
Yeah, you know what? That's it's funny because, you know, they talk about like the languages of love and like the different ways that each individual person has of like expressing their love. And Russ is such a doer. His like way to express his love for you is to like do things for you all the time,
absolutely,
right?
So, absolutely. And it's nice that we have guys that compliment each other. Doesn't like compliments us, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Like it's, you know, and that brings up an interesting point too, you know, is a lot of the folks that are in isolation and quarantine and stuff like that with partners that are not like their best friend, right? Or like, I mean, and not even necessarily like people who are like, you know, that weren't happy to begin with, but they're just like, that's not their person. Like Russ is your person. Scott is my person. We are so thrilled to like be spending time together. Like we just laugh our heads off. We have the best time. And then I think about the folks that don't feel that way and how tough that must be for them to, you know, I've heard it from even my girlfriends who are just like, man, like we're just like fighting constantly. Like I can't take him anymore, you know? And I'm like, man, that sucks. Like,
and the stress of that all is even worse, you know, like, and you know, that's the worst part of the whole thing, you know, like, we're pretty fortunate that we have the situation that we are, but there are people out there, and it's also little kids going through that situation too, as well, you know.
I know. I can't even think about it. You know, I think about the teachers too and how hard it must be for them. I mean, this is like their little people. Like the teacher spends more time with my kid than I do. Like he's there every single day for what is 6 hours or whatever. Like really, you know what I mean? Especially like for little kids like that. Like these people are special to them. And I can't imagine how worried they must be. Like I know I'm thinking about other kids that might be in tough situations, and they're thinking, I mean, they have faces and names of the ones that they're worrying about, right?
Right.
And like I know my one friend had said the teacher had messaged her several times saying like, hey, so-and-so's not logged in yet. Hey, are you going to log them in? And she's like, look, I have 4 kids and stressing. I'm like, but think about how the teacher feels. She doesn't know, where is this kid? Is this kid okay? I need to connect with her. I need to see her showing up. And, you know, like she's stressing.
Especially if you've noticed that the kids have really started to develop and they're starting to learn and they're starting to focus, and you see that happening, and all of a sudden this happens and they're going, but what are they going to, like, what's going to happen from them? You know, like you know, like, this is the thing. They have to worry about all their progression, and it is a loss, because if you chose a path career, like I know myself, I miss my kids. I miss having those students in my studio. You know, having a bunch of kids and doing something creative. I miss that so much. Yeah. And so, you know, I've called upon kids to do things and projects and stuff. So I don't want this connection, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. It's just like, it's missing, especially if you're a people person and you really, really want to be with people. This could be challenging, you know?
Yeah, no, I've thought about that too. Like, again, I'm sort of like, you know, like I said, like our family, we're kind of like homebodies and stuff anyways. Like we're happy in our little circle. I'm like, I know that I'm often very social and doing all the things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like that's what I treasure my solitude. I could be happy as a clam, like just being here with my family. You know what I mean? Like social is nice.
I get it, because I was laughing because I was actually interviewing Faye, and Faye was saying that she said she thought she was an introvert, but she found out that she's an extrovert. She thought that she was the opposite. So it's funny how that happens. You know, like you sort of identify that, right? Because I am an extrovert, but I do like my quiet. I do like being at home in my peace with my husband. You know, like I do like it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally fine with it. But I mean, I you know, it's funny. I do miss, like, I'm very like, there's certain people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I miss Paula so much that I'm just like, it's so weird to like not be physically with her and like curled up on the couch with our wine and like chatting or like singing with her. Like it's that's one of the people that sticks out in my mind as someone that it's strange to be physically apart from them. You know?
I get that completely. I understand. My best friend, I just miss her terribly. I told her I need to FaceTime her. We're just going to do 6 feet apart from each other soon. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I know.
No, I can't stand it. I really know. I know how the feeling is. And I'm, you know, this thing that I'm doing right now is so much fun because I get to spend time with people I care about, with this really good, you know, a good topic as well, because we're all going through this together. Like this is not one person. This is the whole world, right? And I just want to ask you a question. When this is done and over, what do you think we want to get from this? Like, what do you think we need to learn from this?
Oh man, that's such a like, I don't know. I don't know if people can help but discover things about their own selves, right? Like you said, people discovering that they thought they were this and it turns out they're that. I think that like maybe just the importance of slowing down sort of in general, like just, you know, like, wow, you know, I really enjoyed like just sitting and like letting myself just read a book or watch Netflix, like instead of just always having to be productive and always do something. Like maybe like the people that don't ever give themselves permission to do that, who are forced to do it, like you, because you're always doing the thing, you know. I think about like the Badanis, right? Like Candy, like she's friggin' giving her all the time. She never stops. And now it's like, but you have to, right? And so it's just like to watch somebody like you guys who like deserve a break. It's kind of nice to see you guys have to take one. So
True.
like, but then it's like maybe you sit and think like, geez, this was kind of nice. Like, hey, note to self, when things go back to, you know, the way they were, I should still give myself that permission to just like chill, take time for myself, have a bath, like whatever, you know?
I think from now, like I've been working 7 days a week for the last 5 or 6 years. And I think it's time for taking a day off. And and take that day off and look forward to that day off and just being. Like tomorrow, I'm taking Sunday. I've been working all day, every day this past week, but tomorrow, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm in pajamas all day. I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm making a turkey dinner. I'm going to chill and just enjoy the day, and then start back up on Monday. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's important, and I'm really enjoying that aspect. Plus, I'm becoming such a good cook.
Oh my God, I've made so many things. Hey, you know what else I was going to say too, is that it does make me laugh. And I know this is something that's been like said quite a bit sort of online and stuff, but I just have to say it when, you know, when you ask like coming out of this and stuff, it is so funny to me to see, you know, how often people would say things like, oh, if you want a living wage, like do something other than flip burgers. Well, you know, you don't deserve any more than that if you just want to be a cashier at a grocery store. I'm like, hey, turns out those people are pretty important, eh, guys? You know what I mean? I love that.
True. So true.
I love it so much. It's like people are seeing who really is important. And it's like, hey, you think they deserve a living wage now? Like, aren't you glad grocery stores are around? Like, oh my gosh.
And they're risking their lives out there.
I know.
You know, like that's the thing. They're risking their lives for us. And no one should ever downplay any occupation.
I know.
No one should ever downplay.
Like maybe that is one of the biggest lessons, like, hey, who is really important here? And it's like everybody is in their own time, right? Like, exactly. You know, everybody has their role, and you can't.
Absolutely, without question, that's the truth. And that's a really good point you've got out there, because that's going to be something that we're going to look at that differently. I just hope some people, I just hope when they're out grocery shopping in this climate, that they thank them and tell them to be safe. You know,
Yeah, I know.
be kind. Ask them how their day is, because honestly, but make sure you don't talk moistly.
Do not. Do
Please
not.
do not talk moistly. Poor
Do not.
Justin Trudeau will never live that one down for long.
I know. I wonder if he did it on purpose. Just to
I
give us,
know.
like,
You can tell it is
minuscule.
the mortified look on his face going, I said moistly. Oh, God. This is going to go in the history books.
Oh my God. I love it. I love how, like, when you're like a public figure like that, you can't freaking get away with anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, but he's a good sport about it. Like, I
oh
love that
yeah,
he's a good sport about it. At least he's kind, and he's empathetic.
yeah,
Like, thank
yeah,
God.
yeah. I know. I think they've been doing like pretty good. Like, I'm not a real political person, so I mean, I couldn't really say one way or another about Ford or Trudeau. I don't really, care. But I think they've done pretty friggin' good. Like, like they've been working together, and they've been like, I mean, it could be friggin' worse. They could just be like, well, sorry about it. But instead they're like, here's a bunch of money, and here's, it's pretty
Just
amazing.
to put a note. Oops. But just to put a note on that, one of my moms, like I talked to lots, like from like I teach her daughter, and she said to me something very cool the other day. She says, "Oops, there goes my light." She said, "Denise, the government is taking care of us.
Yeah.
So relax and take it easy. Don't get yourself in a knot. The government is taking care of us." And I went, and you know what? I went every morning. He comes out like Thomas Hicks described him perfectly, like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
And Doug Ford comes out like the drunk uncle, get your head damn ass in the house.
No, but you know what? It's true. Like, it really could be worse. Like, they're being present. They are, like, I mean, who would have ever thought in a million years that if something like this happened, they would literally just be like, here is money to live and pay your bills and get your groceries. Just here, take it. Like, they're so friggin' stingy normally, nickeling and diming all the
I
time. Right?
know.
But it's just like they stepped up. Like, I can't complain, man. Like, we got a check and paid our bills with it and got groceries. I cannot complain. Like,
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, and that's why we count our blessings for that, right?
yeah,
But I just wanted to say that just talking to you and knowing, I always love talking to you, Nancy, because it's what it is real from you. I love that from you. You are an immensely talented woman, and I'm so grateful to have you as my friend. And
thanks, Denise. I feel the same way about you, man.
just like it's such a mutual thing we got going on here.
Yeah.
But I thank you for doing this project, because I think it's important that we have a voice, and we could talk, and we can possibly inspire people from this. And nobody's alone in this, right? We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And like when we meet again, it's going to be all of us together, and we're going to have like a little funny meeting together. We're gonna see how this works, okay? And I love you, and we're going to look forward to a musical performance from Nancy. So, along with this interview as well. So I'm going to be editing all of it together. So I'm excited. So thank you so much, Nancy.
Awesome.
I love you so much, honey.
I love you too, Denise. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a great day, honey.
Stay safe, you too.